Hey, everybody, welcome to the Clean Comedy Podcast. It's James, and it is officially 2024. And this will be episode 365. That means this means you can listen to a podcast every day for a year, forever now. I mean, I'm hoping to get to it so you can do it, 2 episodes a day, whatever you want to do. That's the goal. That's the goal is to get there. But today's a solo episode, and I want to talk about lessons that I learned in 2023. Not only just stand up, life lessons, and some writing lessons. So these things will be applied to you. As you know, I'm going to be doing another podcast. I'm trying to figure out how to get it to work where I can do all about teaching how to write for money because that's a big thing that people keep asking about, people want to know about. Like I said, I made 6 figures doing that. I basically make what would be equivalent to the average American income part-time writing. So I maybe do 10 hours a week, if even that. I don't know. Sometimes not even that. So this is the start of the lessons that I learned from 2023. The first one is do not doubt yourself. I spend a lot of time, and I'm sure some other people do too, doubting myself. I watch somebody else that I either come up with or that I do shows with or that I know a little bit. I go to a show or I do a show or I see something and I go, what the heck? Like, I must not be good enough. They're doing all these shows, they're doing all these things. And I was talking to a friend of mine about another comedian. I was like, they're doing a Comedy Store and this thing and this thing and this thing and this thing. And they're only like a year or two in. And I'm like, well, what am I doing wrong? They're like, no. You don't understand. This is what they're doing. And they explained to me what it was. So I had been doubting myself, like, oh my gosh, I'm not good enough to do these shows. No, they had a process. They had like a bringer type concept that they were doing, which is fine. It's great. Let them do their thing. They kind of a group of people. They would show up for each other to do stuff. It was fine. I was like, okay, cool. I learned something new. I didn't even know that existed, but I've been doubting myself and getting down on myself and kind of beating myself up and going, I'm not where I think I should be, or I thought I should be, or whatever. Number two, the second lesson I learned is I did not set SMART goals. If you know the word SMART, they're like, uh, you know, I forgot the concept, but basically they're measurable and attainable goals that you can do. The concept is basically you strategize out goals and you actually um, you know, make a plan of action to get to what you need to do. So SMART goals is an acronym, obviously, and that people use. And SMART goals are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time based. Right? I wasn't making those. I wasn't making SMART goals. I was making specific goals, like I want to do this thing, but I didn't have a way to measure it. I didn't have a way to show that it was achievable, and I didn't have a time-based structure on it. I was just saying, "Oh, this year I want to, right? This year I want to." That's not a smart, measurable, attainable, achievable goal, whatever. So we're not doing that. So this year I'm going to make SMART goals. I'm going to actually go back over my goal list and make them. So one of the goals that I'm going to do is specific. I want to do a show every week. That's 52 shows minimum, right? That's the minimum bar. That's achievable for sure. I want to do 52 shows. So it's measurable. I know how often I need to do a show every week, right? It's achievable. Definitely able to do one show a week. Relevant. Well, I want to be a stand-up comedian, or I am a stand-up comedian, and I want to be doing more shows. That would help me do it. And time-based. Well, I'm giving myself 52 weeks to do 52 shows, right? I would, of course, I want to do way more than that, and I'm going to do more than that. But this is a smart goal, right? It's like saying, okay, I'm going to make sure I do a set every week, a show every week, whatever it is, and boom, I'm going to do it. So go back at your goals that you wrote down. If you wrote down goals from last year, get ready for this year. Make sure that they're SMART goals, that they're specific, that they're measurable, that they're relevant, that they're achievable, and time based. I did not spell SMART properly because I'm not smart. As Homer Simpson would say, SMRT. That's what I just did. So there you go. Number three, do not compare yourself. That is the lesson I learned the hard way. I again, if you heard the beginning of this, I was comparing myself to other people, right? I was comparing myself and saying, "Oh, I'm not as good. Oh, what are they doing that different? What am I doing wrong?" Right? And it was a lot of beating myself up. Do not compare yourself to other people. Your path, my path, is different than everyone else's, right? I have friends of mine that I started out with comedy with. Some are super famous. Some have dry bar specials. Some are, touring the country. Some are doing cruise ships. I mean, all these things. I'm not doing that. But here's the other thing. they're not writing. I'm writing and making money. I'm making six figures writing. So we have things where they go, oh man, I would love to do that. And I'm going, I would love to do what you're doing, and you would love to do what I'm doing. And we share information or whatever. And it works. And I'm getting there. I have some other smart goals that I'm working on. And one of them is yet to teach you guys how to do the same thing, because there is room for everybody, right? Whenever we go, oh, there's not unlimited. Also, some people don't like my style of comedy, and they might love your style of comedy, right? And so then there you go. Now you have a client. I just gave one of my friends a client for a marketing thing that I was like, I wouldn't fit for this. Like, I'm not that kind of person. It's not going to work for me. So I cannot possibly do it. So I passed that on. Um, Number four, right? We got to number four. Number four is this: make sure that you review your jokes, right? I record all my sets. I go back and I review ones, but usually I review the ones that I did well. I did not review as many that I did bad, that I bombed on. I didn't do. There's not a lot of bombs out there, but I didn't go back to those. I was just like, bad night, whatever, let it go. No, that's where I messed up. As I was talking again, I was talking to a friend, and they were saying, "No, those are the ones to listen to." Right? And I talked to a big headliner who was like, "Nah, dude, I listened to the bombs more than the ones that were great, because I want to know, where did I go wrong there? What did I say wrong? What happened that I can fix for the next show?" So that to me was like, "Oh, okay, I need to dial that in. I'm gonna go." So go watch and listen to your bad sets. It is the worst feeling in the world, right? You're reliving that set. It's so uncomfortable. You get so upset. You go, oh gosh, I could never do that. I never want to do that, right? Number five, invest in yourself in comedy, right? I do read a lot of books. I do read a lot of stand-up stuff. I have Scott Dicker's newsletter that I go to. I read a bunch of I forgot the name, Mike Binder. I read his thing. I read books all the time. I get Jimmy Carter's letter, Jerry Corley's stuff, Paul Moonjean when he was writing for Flappers. Hopefully he'll keep that. He'll do a new thing and put out a new newsletter, which I think would be great for comedians and stuff. Mark Masters puts out a great newsletter. So read other people's comedy stuff. Find out what they're doing. Someone has a blog post, go read it. If someone has a newsletter they can subscribe to, go do it. I want to do a newsletter. I think that's probably one thing I'm going to add to with the subscription thing. I'm probably going to do a newsletter that's free to everybody, the subscription for the audio, and then some other things like that. I want to give you guys the most I could possibly can, but also it will make me document a journey that I haven't really been documenting. I mean, I wrote stuff down, like bad stories or weird stories or crazy stories or things that happen with different comedians and stuff, and to make a book or a movie later on, which is fine. But I should be documenting it. And I think, to be fair, Mark Masters is probably the best person at documenting his journey, and I love reading it. And I feel like, oh my gosh, I just lived this whole thing with you. So make sure that you're taking stock of that you're tracking those things, that you're reviewing what you're doing, and but live through other people too. So you can go, oh, that's a great idea. I should do X, or I should do Y, or I should do Z, or I should do whatever. And then boom, now you're doing it. But then also, this next thing, document your journey, right? If you're documenting your journey, you're going to kill it on those things. I forgot what number I'm at. So it is what it is. The next thing would be take a break. Yeah. Sometimes you have to take a break. I've seen so many comedians, because now the pandemic's over, right? Everyone's trying to get back out, get out there, burn themselves out to the point where I've heard comedians go, I didn't want to be here. I'm just doing it because I have to do it. And you're like, dude, that's the worst. That's not what comedy is supposed to be. Yes, I get it can be a job, and it is a job for a lot of professional comedians, but you should be enjoying it. You're in front of people who are there to see you tell jokes, making people laugh. You're giving them laughter. You're sharing yourself. You're being open. You're talking on stage. People are paying attention to you, right? All these things. Don't burn yourself out. If you find yourself, you're doing like 5, 7 mics a week, and you're getting tired, and you're like, oh, I don't want to go, but I know I have to go to a mic. Dude, take a week off. Take a day off. Whatever. Take one day off. Don't think about comedy. Go watch a action film instead, or go, to the beach or to the mountains or to the whatever. Whatever it is. Don't burn yourself out. Too many comedians, we think, and again, this was said to me last night by a headliner. Too many of us think it's a race, right? It's not a race. It doesn't matter how fast you get there, right? Are you moving in the right direction? Are you getting better incrementally? Great. That's all that you should be doing. That's all. You just keep moving forward. There's no reason for you to feel like That's again, then you go back to the comparison piece. You're comparing yourself. You're doing this. You're gonna burn yourself out. I've been there. I've done it where literally said, I've said to my wife, I've said to other comedians, I think I'm done. I think I'm gonna quit. They just look at me like, what? What is wrong with you? Why would you say that? Yeah, don't. Don't burn yourself out. Burn out. It happens in every career, right? It does. We all know, we've all heard about like burnout bankers, or burnout doctors, or burnout lawyers, and all these things. That guess what? It can happen in comedy too. Comedy is the funnest job ever. Like it's so much fun. And I talk to headliners who travel all over the world and do cruise ships, and do this and do that. They love it, but they go, oh man, dude, it's so exhausting to be on the road. Oh, I'm gone all the time. Oh, it's this. But you need the money, right? So you get out there and you do it and you do it and you do it, just like any other job. So you can burn yourself out. And then the last one I would say is find a hobby outside of comedy, right? Too many comedians, we get stuck in this comedy focused thing, like comedy, 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 comedy. And I do for honestly, this for me, this is the hardest one. I had a hobby for a while. I was playing Magic the Gathering. I would go play every week, sometimes once a week, sometimes twice a week for a couple hours, and it was a good thing. But I maybe have an addicted personality. I think that's probably one of the things I have. And I was like so like boom, boom, boom on this. And it was affecting comedy then, right? Because now it's not a hobby anymore. It's like this other obsession. So I was like, okay, what can I do? So I ended up selling literally, that's all I have to do it. I had to sell all my magic cards. I literally got out of it. I have none of them anymore. I got rid of everything. I sold it all. Um, and then I was like, all right, what am I going to do now? And so I actually picked up like a volunteer type job thing, so I could get out of the house and go just kind of be out in the world. And then they offered me like, oh, we could pay you this much for it. And I was like, oh wow, yeah, okay, I'll do it. So I have like a little thing that gets me out of the house. It's like a little hobby that I could go do and get out of the house for a little while. Like I think it's like 5 hours a day I can get out of the house, Monday through Friday, 5 hours a day that I'm out of the house, or not really five, I guess it's three, and like 2 hours of like other stuff. But yeah, and guess what? It's awesome because I get out of the house, I get in the sun, I talk to people, I go around, I'm just out, right? It's a good hobby. It's a good way. And also now that it pays a little bit of money, it's like, oh, I can stock that towards something else or put it towards a different thing or whatever. The next thing I want to learn is like programming and some other stuff. I really like computers. I really like, I think AI is going to grow in the next year. And I think in the next actually 5 years. And I want to see what it does. I talked to I'm gonna bring this up because I know this is gonna have like somebody's gonna say it's like, oh, AI, it could. So I was talking to somebody and they were like, AIs can write jokes, and I'm like, yeah, it can. I played with ChatGPT. It's not good. It's not a good joke teller. It's not. Maybe you can get it to tell a joke in a style of somebody, like jokes in the style of Jerry Seinfeld or whatever. They're not great. They're in the same format, right? If you finesse them, you could probably make them good jokes, but it's not going to replace us. And he's like, oh no, they can replace us. Like AI will replace us. I'm like, no, nobody. AI's not going to get on stage and tell jokes. Like maybe, like, well, that's not the evolution. Maybe the evolution. I was like, comedians are not going away. She's like, yeah, but that's what vaudeville said. That's what this thing said, or whatever. And I was like, yeah, but there is a level of vaudeville style still stuff comedy that exists. It's not at what it used to be because now we have stand up, which replaced vaudeville, but it didn't go away, right? Bob Hope was around for a while. He did vaudeville type stuff. He did stand up. He did whatever. He just changed. He's like, well, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, so you think that comedians are going to be replaced by AI? He's like, yeah, it's possible. He's like, we're not a mandatory job, right? They don't need us. I was like, huh, I mean, I would love to hear what you guys think, but I can't imagine a world where robots tell jokes on stage. It doesn't, I mean, can I see people using ChatGPT or other AI to make like sketch comedy videos that they post on like TikTok or YouTube or Instagram or whatever? 100%. I 100% think that that's a real thing that could happen in the next couple of years. And if it's not already happening, I don't know if it is, but I could see that happening where it's like an SNL type skit. You have AI generated characters, you have an AI generated story. Maybe you fix it or change it or whatever, and then you put it together, and boom, there's a video, a sketch. You just made a SNL sketch that you could put on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube or YouTube Shorts or whatever and stuff. That I can see happening. But stand up is not going to go away. No one's good. There's not a robot that can come out and do what we do. So But find a get back to it. Find a hobby. Find something outside of comedy. Like it could be anything, right? I do Duolingo. It's not a great hobby, but I do Duolingo, so I have something different to do. I'm learning Spanish. I'm terrible at it, by the way. But I do stuff like that. I read every day. I don't always read comedy books. I read fiction books. I read history books. I read social economic books. I read uh, coding books, which sounds boring to a lot of people. I used to want to be a lawyer. Read legal books, which I know again sounds boring to a lot of people, but this is what I do. These are things that I enjoy outside of that. I probably am gonna take back up writing or like drawing again. I always wanted to draw and do comic books. I've written comic book scripts. Also, that hobby can also be working on your own projects that are not directly comedy related. So like I'm a writer, but I'm a comedy writer for the most part. But I still want to write screenplays that are not that and novels that are not comedy. I have a whole series that I want to write that's sci-fi cyberpunk novel series that I've been working on. I don't know if it'll ever see the light of day, but I work on a little here, a little there. But that's those things. And then if I actually turn it into a smart goal, if I actually follow my rules and turn it into a smart goal, by the end of the year, I can have a book, right? And maybe that's what I do. Maybe I go and say, I need to write 1,000 words a day or something. I don't know what the rule is, but I need to do it by this date and I need to write this many things, right? That could work. But I could also just go, I'm not going to put that as a goal. I'm just going to work on it when I can and make writing a letter for you guys, a newsletter like Paul was, or Mark does, or whatever, and do that. Maybe that's the way to do it. So those are lessons I learned for 2023. Write down. Here's the thing: write down lessons you learned, right? And send me a message, shoot me an email, shoot me a DM on Instagram, whatever it is, and tell me lessons you learned. I would love to hear your lessons. Maybe it's something I need to learn too, right? That the whole thing about this is it's a learning experience for us. This is a back and forth. It's not a one-sided conversation, right? It's not. Reach out to me if you have a question, if you have a problem, if you have something, reach out to me. My people reach out to me all the time for all kinds of stuff. I'm here. We're together. I consider you guys the Clean Comedy Podcast family. Your family. I'm here. Reach out. Let's do it. Let's make 2024 awesome for you. If you're just starting or you're struggling to get back into it or you're not where you want to be, reach out to me. Let's figure it out. Maybe I have an answer. Maybe something I can suggest that you're not seeing, right? Sometimes a second pair of eyes, another brain, a different perspective is all you need to have that. Oh, there it is. I figured it out. Or maybe something I say, you go, but then you think about it and you go, oh, I don't want to do it that way, but that made me think of this thing. And then you go do something else, right? Those things are important. So I hope that this helps you. I'm glad that you're here in 2024 listening. Please share this with other people. Please share and like and subscribe. Please do. Please go leave a review. Leave a review. Start with I've been listening to James for however long, however many episodes or years or whatever it is you listen to, and then give me an honest review. I would love it if it's 5-star. Doesn't have to be, but please, if you're listening, go like, subscribe, leave a review. For 2024, that's my smart measurable goal. I want one review a week. So 52 reviews. So one person, go do it. Until we get to 52, I'm going to say it every episode. All right, we're at 32 or 52 or 51 or however many more we need. Do it. I would be grateful. And I'll read them. You leave a review, I'll read it on the podcast the next episode when it comes out. So do it. Right? How long you been a listener or how many episodes or whatever it is, what you like, what you dislike, and an honest review and a star number. I would love 5. I'll take 4. I'll take 3. I would prefer not 1 unless you really hate me. And then again, while you're listening, it doesn't make sense. But do whatever you do. 52. That's my smart measurable goal. Specific. 52 of them. Measurable. I can measure that. Achievable. I think so. 1 a week. That seems reasonable. Relevant. Well, I want the podcast to move. Time-based. I'm giving it till the end of the year. So 52 weeks. So first one to do it gets next episode that I see it, I'll do it. 52. So let's do that. 52. Let's make that our goal as the Clean Comedy Podcast family. 52 reviews. Share this with other people. Ask them to write a review. Ask them to listen to episodes. Please. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Have a great one. Welcome to 2024. Let's get through this together. Let's do some great stuff. Let's make your comedy up there. Let's make some smart goals together. And we'll go back to that. Thank you so much. Have a good one. Talk to you soon. Bye.